WBC President Mauricio Sulaiman here in Las Vegas. Some say the biggest fight of the year. It's only February though. But just what do you think of the buzz, Las Vegas? Everyone's talking about it for Wilder and Fury too.
Well, I'm particularly very excited, very happy. My mind is going back to the 80s, to the 90s. I was so fortunate to be here when Mike Tyson conquered the WBC championship when he was only 20 years old. I was here for many heavyweight fights, Tyson, Holyfield, Lennox Lewis, and when we're going through this week, it brings me back to those days. There's so much hype, so much interest around the world, and the fight itself is tremendous.
Mike Tyson, Lennox Lewis, a lot of people think this is the biggest heavyweight fight since then. They're saying in the last 50 years, I'm looking at Tyson and Lewis is what other people are saying. Just what do you think of, obviously that fight wasn't competitive, but at the time it was really hyped.
It was a sensational fight. It was a moment that defined Lennox Lewis' legacy. Mike Tyson, very brave, very courageous. That was his last real fight, real outing. But they made the heavyweight division great in their own way. Mike Tyson, Evander Holyfield, Lennox Lewis. Those three icons are a special element for this great fight.
And then I've asked you before about the franchise champion. You explained it to all of our viewers and readers. But so I have to get your opinion on this. Lomachenko-Lopez, they're looking at May 30th. It's not 100% yet. But a lot of people are saying it's not a true undisputed because Devin Haney is the champion in recess now, and Loma's the franchise. What is your thoughts on it? I know everybody has their own opinion.
My response is very simple. I'm looking at you. Do you want Lomachenko against Teofimo?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's all I care.
Yep.
It's a unification fight.
Yeah,
Lomachenko is our champion. He's representing the WBC. And it is a unification fight. If you have other concerns, if you have other thoughts, I respect it, and you are free to say whatever you want to say. Do you want the fight Lomachenko-Teofimo? Yes or no? Yes. Do you want the fight, the potential fight of Haney fighting against one of those? Yes. We are doing as much as possible to bring the big fights, the great fights for everyone.
Well, I mean, we don't have a crystal ball, but just what's on the horizon and planned, that's a great fight. Obviously this one, and there'll probably be a third fight with Wilder and Fury. And they're trying to get to Jose Ramirez and Josh Taylor if they, win some of their mandatories. That'd be an undisputed fight. Just what do you think of just some of the WBC fights that we could see in 2020?
Oh, there are so many great fights. Spence is getting ready to go back in the ring. Berchelt against Valdez.
Yeah.
It's a huge fight. Obviously the heavyweights, Canelo, next fight. Whoever he fights is going to be a big fight. In the flyweight, we have Julio Cesar Martinez, who's tremendous. So it's a lot of action. Women's boxing is booming. So there's a lot of activity at the top level.
And with Canelo, in regards to him, he was your 160-pound champion. He's now the franchise champion. And just to clarify, so it looks like he's not going back to 160. If he fights at 168, if it's Billy Joe Saunders, if it's Callum Smith, whoever, he's still the franchise champion. The weight class doesn't matter, right?
Exactly. That is one of the purposes of franchise. To allow him to go into the best challenges possible. He moved up to 175 and knocked out Kovalev. He fought 168. He might fight 160, 168. It's just a new concept. If people want to resist the change, it's natural. I don't have all the answers, but what I can say, I stand tall and happy and proud to have this new designation just to allow the great fights to happen.
And Canelo looks like 68 would probably be his best weight at this point of his age and his physique and everything. I mean, do you have any comments on that?
Oh, he can do 60 in a very healthy way. He's very strong, but he's not tall.
Right.
So he gives advantage every time he fights outside of 160.
And Jermall Charlo, your WBC 160-pound champion, who would you like to see him fight? They've talked about Andre. We've heard about maybe fighting on DAZN, fighting on PBC channels. Is that a fight you want to see, or who would you like to see him fight?
Charlo, he can fight. You have Triple G in the mix. You have Canelo in the mix. You have the Charlos, both Charlos. There's tremendous talent all over in many divisions. Callum Smith is a great fighter. There's so many fights out there that can entertain the boxing world for years to come.
Now we know franchise champion is for special elite fighters, big ticket sellers like Canelo, Lomachenko. What about Wilder? We heard rumors, oh, they're going to make Wilder. But obviously, he's not moving up and down in weight, but he is a big draw and a big name. Would that ever be a possibility for a heavyweight franchise, or is it not needed for that weight class?
I don't know, because he doesn't move up in weight. He is without a doubt one of the most important fighters, the most important champions of today, and but he's fighting consistently against great opposition. He fought Ortiz, now he's fighting Fury. He seems to have a busy schedule ahead, so let's just focus on Saturday night. I hope it's a great fight.
And we didn't mention your 175-pound champion, Beterbiev's fighting into next month against
in March in Quebec City. Beterbiev is tremendous. He's a pride of the sport. He can really punch, and it's going to be an exciting fight.
And you think he already has 2 belts, but looks like he'll be unifying probably later in the year too if he's successful.
Yeah, he has a great future ahead of him.
And Spence, last time you told us you thought he might fight May, June. Have you heard anything different, or?
No different. We're just waiting for exact details for his future.
Your crystal ball. Do we see him and Crawford by the end of the year?
Everybody wants to see that fight. That would be great.
Think we'll see it though? I mean, I'm guessing he's going to take an easier fight, the first fight, because he had a horrific accident, he's been out of the ring. But do you think that's possible for November, December?
Everything is a possibility. This show is an example on how promoters and networks can work together to make great things. So that's another example with Spence and Crawford.
Well, congrats on being part of such a big event here. Hopefully the pay-per-views do well, and it's a tremendous fight.
Thank you so very much.
Thank you.